Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV Sports Spotlight. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from our shows focused on all things sports in the DMV. Please be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. First up on Pitt Sports Zone, Johnson C. Smith University safety Daryl TJ Taybron shares his thoughts after being invited to the HBCU Legacy Bowl game in New Orleans. Then, on Flip the Script, catch part 2 as Jade and Courtlandt dive into the most recent biggest headlines, topics, and sports. On Baltimore Ravens Rundown, we catch the highlights and press conferences from the Ravens' Week 15 dominating win against the Cincinnati Bengals. Lastly, we take a look at highlights and press conferences from the Commanders' Week 15 win against the New York Giants. Don't go anywhere, and as always, enjoy this week's episode of Bowie TV Sports Spotlight. What's going on, everybody? You know what it is, man. It's your boy Pitt Sports Zone, Pitt and Sports Talk Radio, Bowie TV, coming to you live yet again. I told you it's going to be a circuit up until HBCU Legacy Bowl. My goal is to interview every single player that received an invitation. And today I had the pleasure of speaking with Daryl TJ Taybron, Johnson C. Smith University. What's going on, man?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you for taking this time and sit with me, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, you know, what I want to do, I want to go ahead and just do a little icebreaker, you know, get you a little, you know. So this is what we're going to do. First things first, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food, definitely got to be cheesesteak. I love Philly cheesesteaks.
Okay. You know how to make them, or you got a preferred spot?
Is that now? I got me a little iron skillet in the kitchen. I be
yeah. You from the South?
I'm from Spring Hill, North Carolina.
So. Okay, I know Kakalaki.
Yes, sir.
All right. Secondly, what is your favorite vacation or a dream destination?
Favorite vacation. I say I love going to the beach, and my dream vacation would be like to go to Bora Bora. I don't know if you know what it is, but they got some nice water out there.
Okay, man. Listen, you guys got some exotic tastes, huh? The Bora Bora, Dubai. Listen, dream big, work hard for it, achieve it, and you get to, you know, enjoy that. It's no longer a dream destination; it becomes a reality.
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
All right. Then, lastly, your favorite NFL football team.
Favorite NFL. Recently, the past few years, I've been watching the Ravens a lot. So,
them rat birds. Them rat birds. No, well, you know what? I ain't going. You know, he likes the Baltimore Ravens. You know, I'm everything Pittsburgh. Last name Pitts, born in Pittsburgh. I ain't have a choice. You know, so I'm black and yellow till everything.
Yes, sir.
So first things first, man. Congratulations, the first chip for Johnson C. Smith since 1969. You know, talk about the experience. What was that moment? The emotions, the excitement that, you know, you experienced during that time.
It was just amazing. It was a long journey, long 4 years. I've been here. We've been chasing the ring, and we thought we was gonna get it last year, but we fell a little short. We didn't really have all the pieces we needed. But this year we had finally like put it all together. We came through, battled it out, and then really just like the little moments made it more special. Like even when we would be down some games, we'll come back, we'll stick together. And then, like, because Fayetteville game was a real big game for us. It was a testament to us, like, learning how to win, because that's what we didn't do right in the past. We didn't learn how to win, like, big games. So this year we learned how to close out games. That's why we made it to the championship. And then to see the whole city come out, the whole city of Charlotte represented, they had the stands packed out there. So they made it really exciting. And then just for us to just come out there and play our brand of football, like, early, because that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that we display our brand of football. We wanted to go out there, hit first, strike first, and just play a full game for 4 quarters that we haven't really done well in the past, but we made sure we showed that when we played in the championship game.
Absolutely, man. Again, congratulations. One of the things that you said that I like is you said that, you know, we had to learn how to win. And I don't think a lot of people understand, or I don't think some athletes or, you know, some people watching may not understand. Can you elaborate what you meant by learn how to win?
Learn how to win is just more like playing together, playing in the moment. So you got to win the moment. You got to win each down, each play. So not focusing on okay the fourth quarter, not saying I'm gonna play okay the first half and then pick it up second half. No, you got to play a complete game. My defensive coordinator Barry Tripp, he always preached to us. You gotta go sideline to sideline, goalpost to goalpost for 4 quarters. And you gotta make sure you hit first, strike first. So you got to do every principle the right way so that you can win overall. So if you don't do that, then you're not going to really learn how to win properly. You're just going to just win just because you're good, just because of your talent. But when you get down the road, like in the playoffs, like we're saying now, the good teams are going to win. The teams that are disciplined, the teams that are playing the best football, that's who's going to win. So
Definitely, man. Shout out Coach Tripp. That's some definitely great advice. Sideline to sideline, goalpost to goalpost, strike first, hit first. I like that.
yes, sir.
Can you give me one of your best or memorable games from this past year?
This past season, I'll say the first game of the season, we had flew down to Boston. We had played at Harvard Stadium, so we had played Morehouse in a classic game. So it was real big simply because I don't like to fly personally, but
Okay.
that was my second time flying ever. So it was just a big stage for us. We played on TV, played on ESPN, and then it's like we got to showcase who he was for the first time. It was
Absolutely.
my first last senior game, so it was a lot of like energy going into it, and it was just a fun overall. Just being out there, seeing the environment, seeing all the fans that did come out there, even though he was far away. So
Right.
yeah, it was a huge thing.
Now, trust me, I get you on the fly, man. It took me a minute to fly. I was still an adult. I was still an adult when we flew family vacations, having to get a wet cold compress from the flight attendant. So, don't feel bad at all.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna break it down into seven categories. Right? That we'll touch on briefly, man. Wanted to get your, your thoughts and your views on. First things first, the selection experience. How did it feel when you first found out you were selected for the HBCU Legacy Bowl?
Oh man, I was just joying with excitement. I had got a text message on my phone. And I told my friend at the time, I'm like, I think this is what I think it is. And I didn't open the message at first, but I opened the message, I saw what it was. I just screamed with joy because it's something I wrote down on my list like 2 years ago, and especially I emphasized it this season that I wanted to get to the Legacy Bowl. I saw two of my teammates from last year, Jack Smith and Bernard Black. They both made it. And it was like the first time in school history that we had two players go. So I'm like, it's definitely something I want to do. It's something I want to chase and go. So just to see that come to fruition, like I prayed about it, made sure like I told the Lord what I wanted to do, and He made it happen for me. So I couldn't be too more excited.
Yeah, that's major, man. You said you wrote, what they say, write it down, make it plain.
Yes, sir.
That's dope, man. I'm definitely glad that you're able to. I couldn't imagine, as an athlete, as a previous athlete, in my former younger days, being able to get that everything that you've worked hard for. You know what I mean? Everything that you've done to to do it the right way, to put yourself in position to gain the fruits of the sacrifices, the fruits of your hard work and the labor that came before you, man. So again, congratulations for that because it is very
Yes, sir.
major. It's a great accomplishment that unfortunately, not a lot of us get to, say that we've had that opportunity to experience and to go and work out for 32 NFL coaches and scouts.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
One of the comments on Instagram was from the Real Five. Um, he actually played. He's a dope defensive back. Bowie State. Shout out to my man. And he said one of the things he's like definitely got to look past the CIAA playoffs, different type of competition. When you look at when you play Morehouse and when you play other schools and other whether it's the SEAC or if it's a MEAC or any other university or entity,
Mm.
how do you? Is there a comparison or a contrast into that the type of level or the competition playing level when you up against those opponents?
I say it's definitely a difference simply because of the conference they play in. Like we just played a team called Frostburg
Hmm.
about 2 weeks ago, so they were a more physical team. They come from like up in the mountains, so their conference is like more like physical run heavy base. You got some teams, they in the passing conference, so they gonna pass the ball real heavy. So it just depends on where you at. But yes, most definitely like the competition wise always gonna be a factor. But again, football is football. I mean, you'll
Yeah,
probably have like the trenches may be a little different, but at the end of the day, everybody gonna be the same. Everybody gonna be good. So that's
absolutely.
football.
Absolutely. Journey and background. Can you share a bit about your journey to college football and what motivated you to pursue this path?
My journey, it really started with basketball. I was a basketball kid growing up, and shout out to my boy back at home. His name Jackson Vitt. He go to NC State. He a DB there. He was the one
Okay.
that got me to actually go to football practice for the first time when I was in high school. So, like, yeah, if it wasn't for him, I probably would never played football. But
Wow.
growing up, growing up, seeing my brothers and my cousins, they all had played it, so I wanted to take a chance just to experience it, and then I ended up falling in love with it. I played corner at first, like going into my sophomore, junior year. Senior year rolled around, I had switched back to safety, which I ended up leading the conference in picks. I had like 7 interceptions that year. So,
That's major.
yeah, that's when I ended up getting my first offer. I think my first offer was from like Lewisburg or something like that. But overall, I had knew that I had a chance to actually go play football, especially when like you had D1s coming to me like North Carolina Central or stuff like that. So I had took the chance on that. I made a few calls, then I went on a few visits, and then Coach Tripp and them they just showed me a plan that like was fitting around me and what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to school for free. You feel me? I already had the
Yeah.
activities, so that was the main reason. Then I want to be away from home. So being a Springer, I'm from the country, so it's not really a lot much you're gonna see. So coming to Charlotte was very major and very big for me. So that's just a little bit about me. But yeah, I was mainly a basketball kid. I wanted to go to college to play sports. Like, but I had offers to do that, offers in sports and with track and basketball. But overall, football gave me the best opportunity. So
I mean, listen, some of the best football players, were basketball players. You got your Jimmy Grahams, your Antonio Gates, Gonzalez. A lot of those guys were hoopers. I can't think of the name from North Carolina, the Tar Heels. He played defensive end. Um, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get ringed for this, but he played defensive end for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Julius Peppers.
yeah,
Julius Peppers.
high school. Yeah, he came to my high school. So
He was a dog on both the hoop court and the football field.
yes, sir.
So, when you shout out to your friend, for the gentleman you said Vic.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Vic, and he's at Central.
No, yeah,
Um,
NC State,
oh, North Carolina A&T.
North Carolina
Oh,
State.
North Carolina State. My bad. My bad. My apologies.
You
Shout out to him for giving you that nudge. And giving you not only the nudge but the encouragement and the support. That you may have needed at that time to push you to be able to tap into your full potential, and then also too, amazing accomplishments when you're able to do it because you're a student first, academically first. Football second. So when you're talking about a total package, that's what a total package would look like academically, first and foremost, and then athletically second.
yes, sir.
When you talk about your HBCU experience, before when you were going to, did you have ideas about HBCUs? Where was this something that you wanted to go to, or it was whichever opportunity felt best for you?
Well, looking into college, like I really didn't think much of like going to the HBCU. I kind of really like, and originally I wanted to go to ECU. Like that was
Okay.
that was where I wanted to go to. But I took a visit down there, and then I was like, well, maybe this ain't the place for me. So yeah, so really the HBCU experience I always just seen was like the big bands on TV. You got the Jackson State when Coach Prime and them was out there. So I really got to see like how that was, and then I really just like the culture of it, like the meaning behind it. Just being around a group of individuals look similar to you that think the way you do. So it really home being at HBCU. Honestly, like it's really my school is a community based school. It's a small school, but everybody around here love each other. Everybody here all for the same reason, trying to make a name for themselves, pretty much.
That Mike Vrabel is succeeding, but
Courtland, please.
but hey, right? I'm here to be professional. Congratulations to the New England Patriots. Congratulations to Stephon Diggs and Cardi B. And well wishes to their newborn blank Diggs. So
well, technically, the baby can't have his last name yet because she's still married.
But the baby was not. Look, man, I don't know, man. Like
baby Cardi Steph.
That's baby Diggs.
It's not
until his daddy's DNA is Diggs. So
okay,
mama named him Diggs. We're gonna call him Diggs.
Okay.
So baby Diggs. Shout out to you. Next up, Marshawn Kneeland. It's a more somber topic. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna preface this by saying this. If you are a grown man, if you are a woman, I don't care who you are, teenager, whoever, if you're watching this show, mental health is a really big thing. Mm-hmm. People deal with mental health in different ways. People deal with depression, imposter syndrome, inadequacy, anxiety, things of that nature. I know me and Jade both have dealt with our separate challenges with, the challenges of life and things of that nature, mm-hmm. and just and that stuff. And suicide is never the way, but people face it every day.
Right.
So if if you're feeling that, please seek help, go to therapy. Mm-hmm. You're not by yourself, right? And I just wanted to preface that by saying this. But Marshawn Kneeland, Cowboys defensive end, committed suicide at a very, very young age. Mm-hmm. It was shocking when I first read it because he had just played literally the day before, a couple of days prior, scored his first career touchdown. Mm-hmm. Seemed like the world, he's riding this high, and then all of a sudden you get the news a couple of days later, Marshawn Kneeland has passed away, and the team didn't really confirm whether it was suicide until later that day. He does leave behind a pregnant girlfriend, but commending the Dallas Cowboys, who are also playing tonight at the time of this recording. They're playing the Raiders. They put together a fund to help take care of his pregnant girlfriend, and also I think any issues that they have. So
that's amazing.
Shout out to Jerry Jones and that organization, mm-hmm. for being a class act in that manner, for sure. I do know that Tennessee Titans safety Mike Brown, who was Marshawn's cousin, mm-hmm.
Honored
him by wearing his jersey to the game.
I seen that
on Sunday. Their grandparents were siblings, so I know he's probably taking it, pretty tough and pretty hard, mm-hmm. Knowing that these guys are close, and you're seeing him, and he's like I said, he was a budding young star, right? Yeah. He had the makings of a star in the league, and just. It sucks, man. It sucks seeing young kids, and I mean, Marshawn is just he's one side of this, mm-hmm. Right? It's earlier this year, Kyron Lacy, who LSU wide receiver, who was primed and ready to enter the draft, had mm-hmm. some issues that were arising and ended up committing suicide after a mental breakdown. Mm-hmm. So it's so many guys, man. We're losing young kids that have, and I say young kids because he was only 24.
Right.
I'm 32, so officially reached junior unk status according to my nephew. But he's young to me. 8 years his senior, and so
you're definitely gonna be praying for his
you look
family.
At that, and it's man, at 24. I wasn't even, thinking about life in that manner, and just, and I was just kind of figuring myself out. And now, but to think that someone just like to end it like that, you know. And I'm not saying like I'm not trying to make him a because I've seen people say like, oh, he's a coward and things of that nature, which is not acceptable. Like I said, it's a real thing, and people have these issues daily. But it just sucks. And prayers to his girlfriend and their child, and hopefully
prayers to his family and all those that loved him. We just have to do better with checking on the people we deem strong or we think they have it all together. Just really be there for your loved ones, even if it's not physically. Pray for them. You know, just let them know you're thinking about them. And if you could be there for them in their time of need, definitely just let them know that.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and move along. We have a couple more things to talk about. Just real quick, Marshawn Lynch and Method Man, they are doing side quests right now in sports photography. And I'm like, you know what? The pictures are amazing that I've seen. And I love seeing people that you see them one way your whole life, and then they just jump into something new and they're excellent at it. And I absolutely love seeing them out there. Like, I love seeing Method Man out there. That was now I was really shocked. I was like, oh, look at them doing side quests. So kudos to them. If you need an assistant, I know y'all were assisting, but if you need an assistant, call me at the Big Experience. I am there.
You'll be the assistant to the assistant?
I'll be the assistant to the assistant.
I will say this. Don't run into Marshawn Lynch's camera. That man is still...
He might knock you out.
That man is still an former NFL running back. He still weighs 230 plus pounds, and I seen him throw another grown man out of the way, okay? Before he ran into his camera. But I mean, I think that's dope, because these are not the only guys. Like, sports photography, of course, is not the only lane that former, or current celebrities are hopping into in the sports realm. Like, shout out to Cameron and Mace. They have a podcast, of course. And these were two guys that are, two of the better rappers in hip hop history. Yeah. And, they're doing sports media now. And shout out to Arabia, who is a constant on that show now, right? So shout out to her. And then, of course, you got athletes that are doing, like, new media now. So, like, they're hopping into journalism and things of that nature.
Yeah, so, like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
He, 106 in Sports.
Right.
That is going to be dope. I already know it is. So,
and then
I like them doing side quests.
Yeah, his 4th and 1 podcast, too. Shout out to him and Peggy. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a lot, man. Like, so, man, shout out to all the celebrities that are living out the dreams, their dreams and doing their thing. So,
let's scrap. I'm going to edit this out. Let's scrap the last part. Like, we're already at 18 minutes, so we got to hurry up.
So, hopping into the main topics, we're just going to hop right into it. We had some injuries that are going on, some injuries, and this are kind of a rash of injuries to some younger players.
Yes.
Jade Daniels, Travis Hunter, and C.J. Stroud are all like within their first like 3 years in the NFL, right? Travis Hunter being a rookie, and this is kind of weird. It's kind of crazy that these are the 3 names, because each of them are in the early stages at different stages, right? CJ is a 3rd-year guy. This is his 3rd season in the NFL. He's been dealing with a concussion, some concussion issues. Travis Hunter is a rookie, and he's a revolutionary rookie because he plays both sides of the ball. He's dealing with a knee issue that's going to hold him out. With some, I think he had like a PCL that has to be repaired surgically. And then Jaden, who was dealing with some stuff with a knee and a hammy earlier in the year, came back and then dislocates his elbow and his non-throwing arm. And I know, like, Commanders fans, you can stop holding your breath. He'll be fine. But it's kind of something to watch, because injuries in the NFL, of course, it's almost impossible to dodge injuries in the NFL. But it's the fact that these injuries now are coming at a more rapid pace, it seems like. And it's no longer like the concussions that like it used to be. Concussions are down due to the helmet technology that the league has implied and employed, and some of the protocols. But now you're getting more, it seems like, of these kind of horrific
freak accidents almost.
Like Fred Warner. Like, we've had like Fred Warner's, Cam Scatterboo, Tyreek Hill,
There's so many.
I think all
injuries.
three of them.
It's like a huge.
Yeah,
list.
every year there's going to be a bunch of injuries, but I mean, I'm talking about like a specific kind of injury. These like knee, ankle break, tib, fib breaks where like it's feet and legs shouldn't turn a certain way.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill suffered one. I know Fred Warner earlier in the season. Cam Scatterboo, who's a rookie running back, suffered one. And Calvin Ridley just yesterday suffered a fibula break. But it didn't. Of course, his didn't turn a nasty angle. It just, it happens, but it just happened. But, it's just one of those things where you're seeing a lot more of these injuries.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks because the rash of injuries in the NFL.
For the first time since college, Joe Burrow was shut out, and it was at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens, who took care of business in Cincinnati with a 24-0 win. This was a much-needed win for the Ravens, who still have their eyes on the division. This defensive performance was top level. Marlon Humphrey joked that Ed Weed came to practice this week, and maybe that's why they played so well. Here's what Lamar Jackson had to say on his defense holding it down today.
The defense played lights out, man. Holding up. I feel like a high-power offense, man. Joe Burrow. We could have had Joe out there, man. It's, Joe Flacco out there. It's a high-power offense. Man, got Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, those guys. Leonard Brown at tackle. Those guys, for them to stop those guys and for those guys not to have no points on the board, that's tremendous, man. Hats off to our defense.
Prior to the game, Kyle Hamilton was heard in the tunnel saying, if we win this game, we end their season, which is exactly what happened. Here's more from Hamilton on that statement.
Whenever you have an opportunity to propel yourself and put a division opponent in a worse position, obviously it's double whammy. So I'm glad we got the opportunity to do that and took advantage of it.
As you know, Lamar Jackson is never satisfied, and he always wants to put more points on the board, but the Ravens were able to get 17 today. The other points came from a defensive turnover. After the game, I talked to DeAndre Hopkins about what went so well for the Ravens offense today. He pointed out explosive plays, which he had one of his own.
What went well was explosive plays. We really don't get a lot of explosive plays like that. Especially against defense like this. So, I guess last two games, we haven't, had explosive plays. And so just kind of getting back to our ball.
The Ravens are back in prime time next Sunday with a big matchup against the Patriots. Zay Flowers, he said they're already looking forward to next week.
We're going to ride the momentum, but we're on to next week. This game over. We got to win. We got to win out. So that's what we're planning on doing.
This is Karita Parks. That's been your Ravens Rundown. Be sure to follow Bowie TV on all platforms at Bowie TV Sports, and you can find us on Comcast in Prince George's County.
You guys accomplished that one today?
I said we got better. Yeah, we definitely got better. We just got to keep going. Starts in practice.
Why do you think you were able to find more of the rhythm offensively today?
Played those guys 2 weeks ago. They did some great things, but like I said, I feel like if the turnovers didn't happen, all of those turnovers didn't happen, we would have had a chance. And we turned the ball over one time today, we had a chance.
Lamar, can you describe through your eyes the end of half sequence? It just seemed like everything kind of went right there for you guys to put up a touchdown before halftime.
That's just film study, and all us working together. We watch film, pay attention to what those guys doing. One called a great, had a 2-minute drill, and we just fired off.
What would it mean to get Zay into the end zone, considering what he's been through this season?
It's great, man. It's great. We got to find the end zone some more.
What did you see that went pass to Machine? It looked like maybe checked out of a play, and they obviously blitzed, and you were able to find it.
Yeah, like I said, I started watching film. see what those guys do, and I just made a check at the line, and Rasheed just did the rest.
Lamar, what were the conditions like? And we saw you wearing gloves. How many times have you done that in the NFL?
It was cold. The condition was cold. It was too cold. I don't know if this is my coldest game I played in, but it's probably up there. You know, but yeah, I think I wore a glove in Buffalo like 2019. I wore one on my north hand, my left hand. And I just did it, you know, just to try to keep my hand warm as I could, you know, before the game. In practice, I was throwing with 2 gloves, but in the game, I didn't want to have too much grip on the ball. And guys open, and I don't want to miss that.
Lamar, what can you say about the defensive performance? They held the Bengals to no point.
Man, the defense played lights out, man. Holding up. I feel like a high-power offense, man. Joe Burrow. We could have had Joe out there, man. It's, Joe Flacco out there. It's a high-power offense. We got Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, those guys. Leonard Brown, that tackle. Those guys, for them to stop those guys and for those guys not to have no points on the board, that's tremendous, man. Hats off to our defense.
You guys had a bunch of chunk plays, something we hadn't really seen a ton of this year, and certainly we've seen a lot of in the past. Did that sort of start to feel like normal in some ways?
Yeah, it started. Yeah, I believe all of us on offense had the rhythm. It felt like us, and we just had to keep pushing the envelope. You know, just keep getting first downs, stay out of get back on track. You know, because it's hard to convert in the NFL. You know, trying to get back on track. So we stayed out of those situations, but got positive yards and stayed ahead of the sticks.
Lamar, do you think you kind of wore on him a little bit when you came out? The first run was 29 yards, second run was 24 yards. Do you think that third quarter you kind of took control of the game with your running game?
Yeah, offensive line blocking the tail off, and running backs running the ball. Derrick Henry, Keaton Mitchell, those guys running the ball hard. I believe no defense want to hit people in the cold. You know, that's probably caused body aches or something. So I believe they got worn down a little bit.
Lamar, I know you guys are trying to strive to get into the playoffs. Do you feel like today, with your performance out there, did you feel like you guys played like a playoff team out there?
I say we played better. You know, defense definitely did, but I feel like I don't think we was on the field that much though. Like, you know, we only scored 17 points on offense. Our defense scored 1, but I don't think we was out there as much. But if we're gonna be out there much in the playoff game, I feel like we got to take advantage of every opportunity. But defense did great. Offense. It hats off to everybody, but I feel like we can still do more.
Lamar, could you tell in practice that this defense was playing maybe a sour taste in its mouth after that loss to Pittsburgh?
Our defense always has a nasty taste in their mouth. You know, teams like when they play against the Ravens defense or offense, you know, teams like to play their best. You know, and our defense is known for just being dominant. So losing 2 games in a row to division teams, I feel like that just left all of us with a nasty taste. But like I said, shout out to our defense because they played amazing.
Are you starting to feel better physically? Just again, we saw some of the scrambles and the runs today. Is that just kind of coming around to almost your old self in that way?
Yeah, I believe I told you guys early on in the week I was feeling better. You know, it was like Thursday. But I guess you guys had to see it to believe it. I'm starting to feel better.
Well, Lamar, did you take, and because of the hamstring injury you had earlier this year at the cold and the risk of injury, did you have to be extra, judicious or cautious about kind of being outside there?
Nah, you know, I'm trying to win any means possible. I'm out there like I told you guys before. I'm gonna try to go, you know, but if I can't, I can't. You know, I was able to go, so that's what I did. Took advantage of every opportunity.
You know, this is a big win for us. Gives us confidence going into the game against the Patriots next week. Good team, young team, good team. They've been balling, and you know we haven't played our best at home this year, so opportunity for us to right that wrong.
Yeah, earlier in the week you talked a bit about being aware of other Cinderella stories and knowing that that's possible. What's the message just coming out of this game?
Gotta do it again. Gotta review it, talk about the good, talk about the bad, flush it, move on doing it.
Speaking of resilience, tough injury to Teddy, what was it like to just get it done for him?
Yeah, I mean, that sucks for him. Obviously, I don't know the extent of the injury. It looked pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, that's tough. Rookie who's been balling. I think that's 3 rookie linebackers who've gone down with knees problems, but just football is weird like that sometimes. And I know he'll come back whenever he does, strong. And shout out to Trent Simpson, steps in big time, making some big tackles in there throughout the second half. And yeah, I think it's just kind of shows what our team is built off of. You know, guys go down, guys put their body on the line, and another guy steps in and does the job.
Talked about Taybron Robinson earlier. Chuck Smith loves to call him a glass eater. I'm just curious, from your perspective, like, what does he bring to the pass rush when he's out for so long, comes right back in and makes it?
Yeah, I kind of like that analogy or metaphor, I guess. If I had to give him an NBA comp, probably like Jalen Duren or Dennis Rodman, like guys who just eat glass and do the dirty work, and you know, always at the end of the game you look up and they got good numbers and team guy and he's super physical. I mean, he sets the edge for us. Physical dude, chill guy, but at the same time he turns it up on the field. So super happy to have him back.
Before the game, you said if we win, we end their season. So was there a little extra motivation there to get this win today?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the same motivation every season or every game, but you know, whenever you have an opportunity to propel yourself and put a division opponent in a worse position, obviously it's double whammy. So I'm glad we got the opportunity to do that and took advantage of it.
Jay, just big win, divisional opponent. You got in the end zone. Just talk about the performance today.
I mean, we came out and executed our plan. We could have made a few more plays here and there. But I feel like we're ready for next week. We're ready to move on to next week.
What did catching that ball in that weather feel like? When it goes off your hands, but then you're able to make up for it?
It's slick. The ball becomes slick. So, I mean, that's on me. We practice in the cold, so I got to catch those. Yeah, that's about it.
This was probably Lamar's best game in weeks. Just curious, what did you see from him? Did you feel like anything was particularly clicking with the offense today?
Man, I mean, we turned over the ball one time. I had a drop, but 2 drops. But we took care of the ball better than we did last game, so that's a plus.
What do you feel like this win says about this team, the resilience in this group?
I mean, we're going to fight to the end, man. As long as we got a chance, we're going to keep fighting all the way to the end.
I mean, you said you were ready for next week. Is that just the mindset? Just want to ride this momentum? Talk a little bit more about that.
We're going to ride the momentum, but we're on to next week. This game over. We got to win. We got to win out. So that's what we're planning on doing. So we're getting ready for next week.
And the defense, they held the ball scoreless. Just talk about their performance and how well they did today.
I mean, you can see how they practice. You can see how they practice every week, week in and week out. The energy in their room. The energy in all the rooms. So, I mean, it's not a shock to me.
What was your view on that KVN interception, gets it to a Lohi, and they take it for touchdown?
Oh, no, that was crazy. I seen him, like, ready to pitch the ball, but I'm like, man, just go down with the ball. Mm-hmm. And then he gave it to Lowe, and Lowe, you could tell he was ready to touch the end zone. He's been waiting on that.
You would have thought, it was a really good practice this week, and we just capped it like really well Friday. It could be, we practiced really well, and then I think, Zio challenging us last night to just, go out there, let it loose, and just, it's really hard to beat us when we're all on the same page. That was Zio's biggest message last night. We're all on the same page. It's really hard to beat us, and I think he challenged us last night, and I think we accepted the challenge, and we showed up today.
How did he kind of challenge you there?
So it just got us in our defensive meetings, and he just made it clear, like, look at what we do when we're all on the same page. There's not many times where we're all on the same page and we get beat as a whole. And when you look at that, it's really not. And I thought today there were some things, but when we played physical, kind of how we did things, the ball seems to bounce our way.
So what does it say Joe Burrow just doesn't get shut out? What does it say about this defense to do that?
Yeah, that's major. I think I did not realize he had never been shut out. It's definitely pretty hard to shut them out. I know they were T-less, but still, nonetheless, it's a really big accomplishment to shut out a quarterback and a receiver of that kind of stature. So that was a major accomplishment for us. I hope it'll get us some momentum going into next week.
You mentioned taking part of a lot of practice weeks. Did this one stand out for its physicality, even of the previous one?
I would say so. I know for me, one play I basically left my feet, almost dove on the ground. It was just very, it was a really good week of practice. The message, hey, we got to practice well, but I feel like guys really took it to heart, and it kind of did get a little contagious. Like, you walk in the locker room, people are talking about you had game reps in practice, which is, it's concerning. You don't want to go too hard in practice where you're getting hurt, but bodies were kind of a lot of places this week during practice. I thought AD coming back, he brought some juice in practice. He was all over the place. So practice does make perfect, and if anything proved that, it was definitely this week.
To that point about being physical, was that a talking point, number one? Number two, is that something was the level of physicality, to your point about practice, one you guys haven't had in a few weeks in practices?
I think there has been physicality. We haven't practiced bad all week, but there's a lot of plays where it's like, in a game I would make that. And I felt like in practice, obviously when you say that, you usually have to go to the ground or really be. And I felt this week it was kind of some situations where it was like, I'm gonna make this play at all costs. I'm not gonna just say I'll make that in the game or I'll jump on this guy's back. Obviously you don't want to do that, but this week of practice, it kind of seemed like that seemed to happen a little more than not. Even when someone catches the ball, you just get an aggressive punch, things you don't always want to do, but this week, from my eyes, from what I saw, there was a lot of physicality, finishing at the ball, no matter what the circumstance.
Yes, ready to go? Yes, sir. It's awesome, man. During the week, we talked a lot about intensity and urgency, and I definitely saw that. We also talked about the ball, and I did not see that, the importance of that. And so 4 fumbles, 2 in the fourth quarter. I'm fortunate to be standing here saying about the win, after that. But I'll also say, how good it felt in the locker room. And I had told the guys, this has been hard, and going through this process together, take a few extra minutes today. There's nothing like the feeling of a winning locker room. And we're in this division tournament. As we're kind of battling through our space, there's plenty of stuff for us to correct and pick at, but I thought we've been hearing enough inside the building, outside the building, that I want to start off maybe by saying what's right instead of what's wrong. I thought the complimentary football was there today, and I think it expressed itself the most at the end of the first half. Punt returns, interceptions, and points, and that's leaning in on all 3 phases. I was pleased to see the run game on offense, seeing Terry make a big play, the Mikey interception, Jalen on the punt return, and one guy I thought stepped up for us also was Antonio Hamilton, and had a couple big stops for him. He had an incredible week. His wife graduated from South Carolina State on Thursday. They won in their bowl game on Saturday, and he made a bunch of plays today. I had a sense he'd be ready. He's one of those players that has the competitive nature to him in that spot. But more than anything, just, I was pleased. Hey, man, take a few minutes extra today in the locker room. I told him we're in this division tournament of 4 games, and today was one of those March Madness survive in advance. And there was a lot to see the complimentary football, especially at the end of the first half. I thought that was a big deal. So glad to get rocking with you guys.
And we saw Bill, get probably his most carries in a couple months today. How did you see him stay engaged during that time when he wasn't starting anymore, and what do you think helped him have his breakthrough today?
Yeah, you've heard us talk about the room that we like, and we didn't know where it would go with Chris towards the end of the week. He practiced Friday, but just wasn't all the way there. And so as, Jeremy was going to get his space to go. And as we got to it, that's like him to, go battle for it, even in the midst of losing one, going to fight for it again. I was actually super pleased to see on the touchdown he had a big block, they started zero blitzing some of the, the runs. And so for him, step in and make the blocks, all these things are confidence and momentum for him, and that's an important part of his development. So when you nail those, that's a big deal. And he just needs more of it, like we're excited about where he's headed. So it was cool. He has a very distinct running style, especially in between the tackles. I feel like that's where, although he's not the biggest guy that you would see, he does run downhill.
Looked like you guys had the game, but then, of course, a couple fumbles.
Of course.
Or I was going to say, did it feel like, oh my God, here we go again, or how did you kind of sense that we're
I pushed those thoughts aside to say, like, hey, this is the chance, this is the stop. It was great to see a couple 4th down stops by the defense, one down on the goal line and another there. They actually scored on one. We blitzed and hit a good, I thought that was a good throw and play, but I thought it was worth taking the shot. But it matters to be in these fight spends, in these moments, to go make a stop. There's nothing like these feelings of, winning time games, and to see us nail some of those, that's important for us. And we were going to get in the left-hand column by any means necessary, it felt like, and however long that took.
How does it feel to finally get back on the winning streak?
Unbelievable. There's nothing like a winning locker room, and our guys, all 3 phases, found a way to make big plays today, and just a credit to those guys. Like we talked about all week, it's never easy at this point in time with what's going on in our season. But those guys continue to fight, continue to battle, and truly appreciate who this group is, and we'll just keep finding ways to get better.
After last week, how important was it to have a game to win?
Yeah, I mean, just to put it into perspective, like it's hard to go 2 months without winning a football game. And for our guys to be able to put that aside, fight all week, and knowing it was going to be a division opponent on the road, games like this are never easy, whether it's tough, windy, cold, snowy, so many reasons, so many things for guys to not show up and play, and our guys found a way today, and just appreciate them for that.
Marcus, what do you think keeps the team engaged in that way? I'm sure you've been on teams before where that hasn't been the case.
It starts up top. Q does a great job of making sure day to day we're competing. And when we have that type of atmosphere and that culture, you can't help but just kind of fall in line. And you got to give credit to Q. Like you said, I've been in places where this can go very ugly very quickly. And they keep finding a way to keep our guys engaged and find ways to improve.
How much did the last loss really sting and maybe even play a role into getting this win?
Yeah, I mean, that one was definitely tough, and I think looking back on it, we could have all played a little better. But with that, like I said, with that being said, guys just found a way to just grind it out.
How good does it feel to win a football game?
Yeah, it feels amazing to win a football game, especially against your division opponent. I think that adds a little icing on the cake for that. It's been a long season, but you come out here and you get a win, and you really appreciate that feeling in the locker room. So we're definitely going to enjoy it together. we got a kind of like a short week this week, playing on Saturday. So we'll be back early next week, get better from the film, and get ready for the Eagles.
Sorry, what does it say about your teammates and the culture here in order to come up here and get a win like this, considering that it wasn't a whole lot to play for as far as playoffs or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we hold each other accountable to that. Like, we get 17 games for a reason. And, if you're in a position to continue to fight, then you need to do that. You know what I mean? We got nobody in that locker room that's going to lay down. You know what I mean? It's just good to come out here as a team and get a team win. You forget what that feeling is like when you've been on a losing streak like we have. But when you come in here and you get a win in a tough place to win, I played here a lot of times, and it always comes down to the fourth quarter. That's how the NFC East games go. So you definitely feel good because, all the work you put in this past week, the times that we've lost, like, you get a win and it feels good. So we got to find a way to harbor that feeling. Figure out a way offensively just to take care of the football better at the end, so we could put away teams instead of letting them hang around. But we'll take this win and we're going to come back better next week.
And we're going to jump right on in because, again, it's a lot to discuss. So we might as well get right into it with what's your one word. And it is, what is your one word to describe how you felt after the Washington Commanders defeated the Giants, therefore resulting in a sweep of the New York Giants on the season? How did you feel? What was your one word, Wole?
I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say finally.
Okay. It's good.
Yeah,
that's a good word.
Yeah, I'm being positive because everybody knows. I was all about draft picks. I'm opposite from players. I'm a fan, so I don't care. So, but yeah, I'll say finally. So finally. I'll say finally.
Finally, I see some other ones too. I think Paul was kind of like whoop-de-doo. I think there's others that say they were happy. And the others who said finally, like you said, I was relieved. I was relieved. That was my one word.
I like that. Relieved. I like that.
It was some relief. Because it's not fun. Losing really stinks.
Mm-hmm.
For all parties involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not a good space. And it's never good. I try to explain this to everybody. Listen, winning is good for everyone. When you say that, for business, even from a business perspective.
Oh yeah, your winning is good. Like last year was amazing.
Oh my goodness, right?
Last year was amazing. I'm not going to hold you. Last year was amazing. Like for popularity, I feel like all content creators, any space you're in as a reporter, I feel like when they win, everything goes up. Like exposure is up, everything is up. But because even in that process, if you're doing a process, if it's a winning season and when you do catch an L, even that gives you a lot of feedback and a lot of attention. So, but when you're just constantly losing, you don't have people don't want to see the product, right? Whatever you're covering, they don't want to go and hear about losing unless they all want to vent about losing. That's the only thing. But yeah, when you're winning, like lack of a better term, everything is lit.
Everything is lit.
Mm-hmm.
So and it feels right. It feels good. It doesn't feel bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's good for business.
Yeah.
Everybody's business. You are so right, Wole. That's why I was like, I don't think people understand. Losing isn't what. I can speak for myself, and Wole, you're saying it as well. I know it may come off that maybe sometimes that back in the feels like media or people want the team to lose. No. Well, at least I don't.
Some people do. Some folks like I would say that some folks do.
Right.
Some folks do. You're right though. Candy.
Yeah. I don't want to acknowledge that. That's not this space. And so that's why, like Paul, your comment, actually win or lose, y'all content is truth, and that makes it the best. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. But last year was lit. Now I had experienced it the year prior, right, with the Baltimore Ravens, with the Karita. I was like, yo, winning is good for business. And so it was a treat last year with the Commanders and the Ravens, and we're feeling it also this year with the Commanders and the Ravens. Funny enough, This weekend was the first weekend. It took till week 15 for both of those teams to actually win in the same week. That's insane.
That's wild.
It's wild. And then the Wizards had the nerve to win too. So that's another topic. But I'm just saying, winning is good.
No, winning is really good. Like no one, I don't care who you are, no one wants to be in a situation where you're speaking about a team and you have to have this divisiveness, right? Because we all want this team to win and whatnot. So when you're losing, then people pick sides, like what's wrong with the team. There's this little banner of like, yeah, we're all losing, but we're all looking for reasons why we're losing, right? We want something to blame. When you're winning, it's just a kumbaya moment. Yeah, there's always like a player or two or whatever that people want to complain about. But at the end of the day, like in terms of like, it's about 90% everybody's on the same accord.
Yep. So let's talk about a win, shall we? But before we even get into the game and all of that, I think the big news of the day was the announcement that Jade Daniels will be shut down for the remainder of the season. There are 3 games left, 2 against Philly, 1 against Dallas, all division, all division games. Jaden was not medically cleared for contact. So they said with the game schedule, all of those things, shut it down. My thoughts have always been, if he's healthy, play him. If he's not, don't. And that is what we've seen. One thing that I can commend about the situation and will always continue to commend when it comes to Jade Daniels is he, as Dan Quinn shared in the press conference this afternoon, he wanted no parts of IR because he still wants to practice. So I would imagine if he's not cleared for contact, then he won't be participating in team drills. It will be limited in that regard. So, hey, I mean, for those that had concerns about the organization, as much as I and others were trying to assure people, this is not that. This is not that. And whether you're trying to play spoiler or whatever the case may be, there's not going to be some newfound synergy or juice or vibe because they won, because they beat the Giants. It wasn't going to be that. If he's not cleared for contact, he's not cleared for contact.
Yeah. And I like the decision. I mean, personally, I like the decision. I know this is like my on Auburn and Go everything. My man George, he is a big fan of him playing. But I'm like, if he isn't cleared to play this week, lets you know that like he ain't really healthy. And if you clear him for like next week to clear him, right? He's still not healthy. Like at the end of the day, you don't want somebody who's banged up. If he's your franchise quarterback, why have him? If he's banged up, why have him out there in the last game of the season? Doesn't make any difference to me. If he's banged up, we're not talking about a guy who's healthy. We're talking about a guy who's banged up. So for him to even see the light of day and he's banged up, it would be bad business and bad practice, period. So I'm glad they took this route because if he's not 110%, I don't want him out there. And that's just point blank, period. He has to be 110% for me to have him out there for a meaningless game. If this game was about the playoffs, one game away from like getting to the playoffs, obviously no one's healthy. You want them out there, period. I get that. But this game, like he's banged up. So if he's banged up, there's no reason for him to be out there to play a meaningless game, and he's your franchise quarterback. I know we can look at other players, but there's levels to this. I'm sorry. There's levels to this. He's your franchise quarterback in a meaningless game. And Pat Mahomes, I see Paul putting up Pat Mahomes, what happened to him yesterday, and Micah Parsons. If Pat Mahomes was banged up going to the last game of the season, he ain't getting that work. I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care if you're a vet, rookie, or whatever. If you've shown that you're a franchise caliber quarterback and you're banged up and you're just clearing people just to make people feel good about it, just so he can play, that doesn't make any sense. He's banged up, so he shouldn't play.
Yeah. I mean,